The Nano Plus is a drone with sensational video and photo quality, and as you probably have noticed, I'm a big fan. But there are certainly a few shortcomings. In this video I will test the speed in all the different modes against the DJI Mini 2, which is important to evaluate the wind resistance, the weak point of all sub 250 grams models. Right after release, speed and wind resistance was really a weak point for the Nano Plus. Things have much improved after a couple of firmware upgrades, but it still gave me the impression of less power compared to the Mini 2, and I also found it very slow when ascending or descending. So let's test it again the Mini 2 in the same windless conditions. I will make sure that the height of the flight is the same for both models to avoid difference in wind. Both models have 3 speed modes, even though they have different names. First of all, let's set the unit for both models to metric, in km/h. Let's start with the Mini 2. The horizontal speed announced by DJI in km/h is 21.6 in slow mode, 36 in normal, and 57.6 in sport. Let's test it. I cannot detect any wind at all. I will try first going away from the home point and then coming back to see if there are any differences due to wing drag. Going out, the Mini 2 reaches 28.8 km/h, much faster than the announced speed, which is unusual. Coming back home, the speed is exactly the same. This means either that there is no wind at all, or that the Mini has good aerodynamics and therefore good wind resistance. Let's move to normal speed now. Here something strange happens, as the Mini 2 goes at exactly the same speed as in Cine mode, as if the switch between the two modes doesn't work properly. I always had the feeling that there was not much difference between the two modes, but this is still quite surprising. As usual, it could just be my unit, so let me know if you have the same issue. In sport mode it feels certainly more powerful and reaches exactly the announced speed of 57.6 km/h. Once again, there is no difference between the two opposite directions. Let's go with the Nano Plus. The announced speed in the 3 different modes are 18, 36 and 54 km/h. The slow mode, named Smooth, is too slow for regular filming, and I always found a big gap between this mode and normal. But I found useful to have the possibility of maintaining the drone at a very low speed in some specific situations, especially when filming real estate or people. In both directions, the Nano Plus reaches a maximum speed of exactly 18 km/h, which is the speed announced. In normal mode, surprisingly, there is a big difference between the two directions. Going out, it barely touches 30 km/h, while on the way back it goes up to exactly the announced speed of 36. It is difficult to explain the difference in speed. It could be due to lower wind resistance. Let's see if the same thing happens at maximum speed. In Lucridius mode, which is the equivalent of sport, the Nano only reaches 38 on the way out and 48 on the way back, which falls short of the announced 54, and it is slower than the 56 reached by the Mini 2. So there must be some aerodynamic drag with the Nano Plus, because of the difference in speed and the two directions, both in normal and sport mode. Maximum speed in sport mode is lower, therefore we assume that the Nano Plus has a lower wind resistance compared to the Mini 2. Both drones give me the impression of being very slow when ascending and descending, something a bit annoying on many occasions. Let's quickly compare the vertical speed. The Mini 2 has an ascending speed in 3 different modes of 7.2, 10.8 and 18, against 10.8, 14.5 and 18 for the Nano. Therefore they have the same maximum ascending speed, but the Nano goes up faster in the 2 slower modes. This time there is a light breeze, as you can see from the top of the palm trees moving around just a bit. Let me stress that a good amount of care is needed with the Nano Plus in medium winds, and I certainly would not risk it in strong wind. It's not exactly the drone that I would bring for a week of shooting in Iceland. Let's start with the Mini 2. In slow mode going out, the speed is constantly at 16.9. Coming back, exactly the same speed. So this time it is much slower than the first time with no wind. In normal mode going out, the speed is 28. Coming back downwind, just a touch higher at 29. This time there is a big difference between slow and normal, while the first time they were both at the same speed. A bit strange. In sport mode going out it reaches 51 km per hour. And coming back downwind, 58. So the Mini 2 doesn't seem to be affected much by the light wind. Only in sport mode there is a little difference between the two directions. Let's see now how the Nano Plus behaves. Going out in slow mode it reaches 18 km per hour. But the range is wider, fluctuating between 15 and 18. Coming back downwind, the spin is more stable at around 18. In normal mode going out, the speed is around 25-26. Coming back downwind, the spin goes up to over 36 km per hour. Big difference. In sport mode, into the wind, the Nano ranges between 30 and 35, which is disappointing. Coming back downwind, it reaches 49. So, in sport mode, the Nano Plus is sensibly slower than the Mini 2. Also, it seems to be more affected by the light wind, as there is more difference in speed in the two directions. So, our test confirms what I was expecting by using the two drones. The Nano Plus seems to have less power and wind resistance compared to the Mini 2, even though it's not a huge difference. Click on this link to watch my other videos about the Nano Plus, and don't forget to hit the like button if you found this video interesting. Thank you.